Hello everybody, welcome back to our channel. How are you? Well, sana lahat okay lang. The other day, we went out and it is noticeable na marami nang bumabalik sa trabaho. I mean, parang nagiging normal na ang takbo ng ating pamumuhay despite the, pandemic. Although narinig ko na naman kagabi na nag-spike up na naman yung, number of infected. So medyo nakakapanghina na naman. It seems like wala pa talagang flattening na nangyayari. And the last time I heard, sabi ng mga scientists, it would take some time for them to make sure that the vaccine is ready and available. Yun lang. That's really sad. Sana bago magpasko, 'di ba? Masaya sana, or it would be a really nice Christmas for all of us kung sana tapos na to lahat. So, but going back, tama na nga yan. Going back, I just mentioned that the scientists actually expressed that the vaccine will be available sometime in December. Sana totoo yun, or before Christmas, or sometime early next year. Wag naman, sana, no? Okay, why did I say that? Because today I'm going to make some clear explanation on the use of these three words, or adverbs actually. Some of them, adverbs, yung iba dyan, pwedeng noun lang at pwedeng adjective din. Alright, but this is gonna be short. Gusto ko lang i-express or i-impart yung differences ng tatlong to. So the first sentence I mentioned, or I told you, is the scientists are, expecting the vaccine to be available sometime this December or sometime next year. Alin dun? Is it the one that's together, or this one that's separated, or the one that's together but with letter S? Well, if you say sometime, the first one, you are correct. Sometime in December, sometime early next year, sometime next week. That's an adverb. Alright? What about the uses of these other two expressions or words? Let's see. We're gonna have the sentences and figure out the meanings of each one later on. Alright, so let's go to the first sentence on the board. We are going for dinner blank next week. Going for dinner blank next week. Is it number 1, number 2, or number 3? So if you say number 1, well, you are correct. I'll say it again. We are going for dinner sometime together next week. We'll see what it means. Alright, but before I explain how we use those terms, we'll have the second sentence first. It will take blank to finish this work. It would take blank. Is it sometime, or sometimes? Well, if you say sometime number 2, you are correct. Try to imagine. Sometime. Separate. Some. Not so much. Not so many. Just some. Is it possible to say just some when the meaning of this sometime is actually a long time, like a longer time? We'll check more on that. That's correct. Number 2. If you see number 3 now, for blank, humans have known, I'm sorry, this is with letter N, have known that the world is round. I've heard this sentence before, actually. So for blank, humans have known that the world is round. If you say number 2, that's also correct. Say it again. For some time, humans have known that the world is round. Alam na natin yan. Matagal na. Ang ibig sabihin sa Tagalog. Alright, let's go to the next. Vaccines for COVID will be available blank in December. So that will be number 1. This is my example sentences or sentence in the beginning. Okay, sometime in December. Sometime tomorrow. Is it possible to say sometime tomorrow? I'm gonna go to the mall sometime tomorrow. Well, that's possible. That sounds correct. We'll see what the meanings of these words after this. Number 5. We blank go shopping for groceries. If you say sometimes, number 3, you are correct. We're gonna start here. We sometimes go shopping for groceries. So pag ginamit mo yung sometimes, it's an adverb form that would answer how often. So it's not always, but sometimes. If you imagine, always, lagi. The opposite, hardly ever or never. I never go shopping for groceries. I have someone do it for me. I'm kidding. Or, yung middle naman nun, okay, let's say it again. Always, madalas. The opposite is never or hardly ever, halos hindi. What about the one in the middle? You can say sometimes. It answers the question, how often? Alright? You can also say, I always go shopping for groceries. But let's use sometimes this time, okay? We sometimes go shopping for groceries. Notice that this adverb should be before the verb. This is the verb. You can also say, sometimes we go shopping for groceries. Or, we go shopping for groceries sometimes. At the end of the sentence, before the complete sentence, or in the middle, before the verb go. Can we say, we go sometimes shopping for groceries? No. Alright, something that you do not often times, just sometimes. Hindi madalas. Okay, that's the use of sometimes. Very simple. And most of you guys actually know that. Now, let's go to the first sentence. We are going for dinner sometime next week. When you say sometime next week, yes, you know it's next week. But there are a lot of days in that week. Monday, Tuesday, up to Sunday. So that means it's a very indefinite or vague time in the future. Hindi ka pa sure kung anong day doon eh. But you are sure of the next week. Alright? Pero hindi pa specified yung exact day. Kaya sinasabi mong sometime in the future, you can also say that. Alright, so hindi pa siya, the time is still unknown, or the time is still vague or unclear. Pag ginamit mo yung sometime. Notice yung sometime na yon, it's actually an adverb. Sometime next week. It's an adverb. You don't have to check how, but look at that. It should be before a certain, period of time that is vague and indefinite next week. All right, let's go to number 2. It will take some time to finish this work. Some time together. Now notice yung sometimes na to is in the middle ha. Hindi siya always. It's just in the middle bit of always and never. Now, etong sometime na to, inaakala siguro natin na pag sinabing sometime, ay konti lang. Kasi some lang eh. No, actually it implies that it's gonna be like, a long period of time. When you say sometime, it's gonna be like a long period of time. Please give me some time. Or if you say, please give me a moment, that's short. But if you say, please give me some time to think about it, Can you imagine? Somebody is asking you to decide on something. Oh, come on, please give me some time to decide on it. That means it will be a longer time than expected. So yun yung gamit ng sometime. Hindi lang to basta-bastang measuring amount of time that is just some or na konti lang. No. This expression actually mean that it is usually referring to a long period or amount of time. Did I hear it correctly? Okay. Hindi lang siya yung kasi some alam natin sa Tagalog kasi pag sinabing some, konti lang. Give me some, please. No. It's a different thing. When you say sometime, it implies a long period of time or amount of time. Look at my number 3 sentence. For some time, sa sobrang tagal na daw na panahon, humans have known that the world is round. See, that is the best example. Okay? So I've been working so hard for so long and I need some time to rest. Meaning, quite a long period. Alright? Hindi lang siya yung small time or short time. Just because it says some. Alright? Kaya nga pag may mga project kayo sa school, for example, or sa office, and you are meeting the deadline or cramming for the deadline soon, you would ask, please give me more, or please give me some time to complete it. Meaning, nanghingi ka pa ng longer time. Yun yung ibig sabihin nun. Alright? However, eto, yung magkadikit na yon, by the way, this is the noun, and this is just a determiner. Alright? Well, so much of that noun or adjective or adverb, it doesn't really make so much sense as long as you can use it. That's important. Okay, and the last sentence here, vaccines for COVID will be available sometime in December. In December, but not definite. Hindi pa natin sure kung what particular day sa December. So it's still vague. It's still unclear or very unspecified. If I say, I want to travel to other countries sometime. Just sometime. Walang sometime next week, sometime next year. That's also correct. That's even more correct kasi that implies unspecified time talaga. Alright? So if you put the time, nagiging more definite siya of that period. Pero yung specific is not yet specified. Kaya unspecified pa rin. But just alone, the word sometime, you can still use it. That is even more vague. Alright? I want to go to the moon sometime. That's together, okay? Meaning so vague future time reference. Alright, so that's the idea of using sometime together. That's actually adverb, sometime, noun, it's a kind of determiner, and then this one is also adverb that answers the question, how often? How often do you take a shower? Oh, just sometimes, not always. Wala namang tubig lagi, diba? So that's what I mean. You don't take a shower often, so you use it sometimes. Okay? I mentioned that this is adverb, and ito yung paggamit nun. Again, it's either before a certain or a kind of duration in the future, or not any, or there's no duration of time at all. Yun yung dalawang use. However, this one, sometime, we can also use it as an adjective. However, pag sinabing, hindi naman siya commonly used, but it's kind of adjective. It means in the past, or it means former. How do you say that? Adjective. It means former, or it means a thing in the past. I will give you example. I was sometime a teacher. All right, so I'm not a teacher anymore. Although there's that implies that it was in the past. But when you say sometime as an adjective, you can also use that to mean former. Although not very commonly used, it is just used in, more complicated situations. So I'd rather you just concentrate on the simple uses of sometime as separated, and sometimes. Hope you learned something for this in our lesson today. And please, if you still are not part of our channel, go ahead and hit that notification bell icon so you'll be updated. That like and share as well, and please subscribe. This will help our channel. Thank you for staying with me. We'll have another lesson in the next 2 days.